So some of you have asked me to talk on my videos, so I think I'm going to do that. It's early July, mid-July now. Wow, how the time flies. And I think we're pretty much at our peak or just past our peak. And it's a beautiful morning. So let's do a tour. This is my aloe vera that I bought at the store and split up. Some other plants that have broken and I've made new plants from, or I don't know, it's just kind of accidentally ended up like that, but it's not that bad. Maybe right here, oh, dirt on my finger. Real gardener, y'all. Anyway, this plant right here maybe could use a little something. Hello, Laverne. I know you can't come out. Another lovely accident. So this was full of see, this is why I don't like to talk, because I can't remember things a lot of times. Anyway, it's a plant, and I usually put it in pots and stuff. Obviously, everybody's gonna know the name. I can't remember it, but I had it all full of that, and then it didn't like it. I think it's too wet in there. So this is a little piece of lemon coral sedum that I put in there. It will get big and fat and spread, even if the soil's kind of wet, I think. And then that's just a piece of super bells that broke off of this plant. Now, this is sort of a repeat from last year. There's 3 plants in there, but one of them has been gobbled up. And this is something that's really beautiful to look at from inside the window too. And then I made these, I don't know, 10 years ago to give as gifts for Christmas, and then Jared convinced me that nobody wants my junk, so I didn't give them away. So then I found them in a box, and now that's where they are. I think I got this plant 3 or 4 years ago as a piece that fell off of a plant at Home Depot, and I brought home, and it turned into that. And then this is just a little potted succulent that I stuck in there because it kept falling over, and I don't know, now look at that, look, with the little gnome in there and the plant and the, I don't know, I like it, so it's gonna stay like that. My clematis is gorgeous. It's past its peak, but it was beautiful and full, and it's still pretty good, but it was banging, I'm telling you. This cutie little pot of petunias. This is one Jared, he just brought me home some plants. I sent him to the store to get something, and he brought home some plants, and he really likes this dark look. I like it. I mean, this beast I have to keep cutting back and cutting back because it really does want to just take that over. That's a sweet potato vine of some form. And then when you back up, you can see the stairway, and also the gate on the side with the arbor, which is very lovely. And these pots are hanging up here on these little clips that I got at a garden show once. Let me see. So the pot like hooks up into the back right there. And yeah, I do this same sort of thing every year, but you know, the difference is the last 2 years I really started fertilizing regularly every Friday, and it makes all the difference. So in here I've got, this is the new addition to my garden. This is a spruce, Alberta spruce, dwarf Alberta spruce, I believe. It was clipped into that spiral at the garden center. I got this at Stein's. And let me pan over here. Try to do it slowly so that I don't make you sick. But see that? Do you see that? That is what was there. And that was a rescued Christmas tree from Home Depot. Cost $17. We got it in January. It sat in its pot until spring. And there was just one of the tiniest little roots in there that tried to make it out into the soil after I planted it. And it just died. And it got so ugly. All the needles fell off of it. It was just pitiful. So I've got some lilies back there. The lilies are over. Sad, but they were nice. They were gorgeous. And this is a boxwood. It's a Chicago something or other. It's going to get a little bit bigger than that, maybe twice that big, I think. There's a autumn joy sedum and Montauk daisy. And when I cut these lilies back a little bit more, there's some more Montauk daisies back there and some more sedum that will steal the show in the fall. I have a nice hydrangea here. This is a lace cap hydrangea of some variety, I do not know. It was sort of put into my garden by a friend of mine that just gave it to me, which is the way a lot of my plants have been. Okay, this is Joe Pieweed. It's its second year. Last year I cut it back. This year I decided not to. I just wanted to see how tall it will actually get. I wanted it to fill in this space right here on the side of the house right here. I'm hoping it will. I mean, it should. It said it would. So these right here are Rose of Sharon. There's one here, and here, and there was another one. Maybe it didn't make it, but these were cuttings that I took from the Rose of Sharon in the back. It's a pink chiffon. Lovely. An iris, Russian iris, I think, that's finished. Siberian iris. Hosta. Okay, now this is a winner here, y'all. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is the bridge. There's 2 wine barrels on either side full of canna lilies that were a gift from Bob down the street. He brought me 4 of them, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. And they have multiplied and divided, and I just have so many. I have so many now. And I love them. They're beautiful. They grow quickly once it gets warm. Very nice, very dependable. I don't want to miss this guy. This is monk's hood. Supposedly it's poisonous even to touch, but I touch it all the time and I haven't died, so. Okay, so panning around here past the lovely bridge. There were some yellow daylilies in here, and they're over, but their neat little heads are kind of cool. They're seed pod heads. And the nice grassy texture. I dig it. It can stay till it looks ugly. A nice big hosta. Now this right back here, I love. And my mother-in-law loves it when I cut her bouquets with that in there because it's so droopy and cute. But it's a thug, and it spreads by rhizome. It is a nightmare. It gobbles up plants. I have to dig up the plants and move them, or dig out big chunks of the rhizomes, and which they will come right back anyway. But you know, I've gotten like 10 years of lovely bouquets out of this. It is the best cut flower, and I don't know. So far I've let it stay. This is just an Annabelle hydrangea that was another gift from a fellow gardener down the street, Colleen. She gave me one little piece of it. I planted it in the back of the garden, just like in a little I didn't even plant it right. I just like laid it on the ground, covered it up with dirt. It turned into a plant back there that I've since divided twice. And it's grown that big. This is sweet wood down here. This is sweet woodruff ground cover and a weed. And I like it, and it's beautiful in the spring. But I have competing ground covers. I have ivy, I have lamium, sweet woodruff. Oh, back in the back there's vinca. I mean, what? That new gardener mistake right there 10 years ago that I'm paying for now. So, lovely hosta from Bob. This is bubblegum Supertunia Vista. And that is from a cutting from a mother plant that I overwintered in my grow room under the light. And boy, they just really took off and just did their own thing, and they look really beautiful. This is my butterfly bush, which had the ugliest shape before it got the leaves on it, but now it looks really pretty. Like, my prune job was hideous, but the plant just, I don't know what people's problem is with butterfly bushes. They're great. And it's kind of big, but not like uber big, but kind of big. Kind of because, you know, my view, you know. But anyway, when you walk by my garden, you're looking at my garden. You're not looking at the stuff around it. So, a hosta, a rose. Now this is one of those knockout roses. And this whole area here, this is like a cutout area right here. It's, can't see my finger yet. It kind of swings around and goes back, so it swings. This is the fattest part right here. I like it, but I think I would like a fountain in there more without that rose. But this is one of the sunny places in my garden, and I hate to give it up to something like that. And this tree, it's a linden tree, I think, and it has these seed pods that it drops, and the leaves fall, and there's a squirrel that makes a nest up there. That just might be a disastrous idea, putting a fountain in there. And fountains are very expensive, so still thinking about this. So we got some liatris, some coreopsis. This is liatris right here. It's a spreader, but look at it. I mean, come on. And then the coreopsis, which I thought was dead last year, but now look at it. It forgave me for whatever I did to it. Thank you. Now, in this bed, oh, you couldn't even see it over there, but there is another one of these. This is an arborvitae that was a baby, one of two that I found underneath a tree, an arborvitae in the back that I planted. I don't know, maybe it's a baby of it or a sport of it or something. But anyway, I decided to have an experiment, and I potted it up, and it was potted for like 3 years. And then I put it out here in the garden. And when those grow up, there'll be 2 matching arborvitaes in the garden. So that'll be a nice evergreen structure in the winter. So, more canna lilies. Oh no, now I can't remember. Okay, here's a fun thing. This is a cucumber. And it's growing on my handrail, and I'm gonna just let it do that because that's cute. And then I had some irises in this spot that I just dug up because it was time. And this is just a bucket of petunias that needed a haircut, and now they're here recovering. More liatris. I believe this is White One's Veronica right here, looking gorgeous. Let's just take a close look at that. Look at how good that looks. Oh, hey. How you doing? More liatris. These daisies. Okay, so I have some daisies here that already bloom beautiful, and I cut back. And then this little bunch is looking adorable. And then this bunch that's more in the shade bloomed later, but just as nice. And that's what the other one looked like last week. And yeah, this is a lovely little vista that my neighbors get to see. And so Bottle Rocket, oh, can't remember the name. Anyway, though, this is its 4th year, and it is bomb. Look how cute this is. And in, like, you know, the whole scheme of the garden, this and that yellow kind of mirroring each other, oh, it's just so good. So good. Some bachelor buttons, or Mountain Bluet, or there's another name, can't remember it. Maybe that isn't bachelor buttons. Maybe I've been thinking the name is wrong. Anyway, this is a volunteer, some kind of tree. Don't know what kind of tree it is. This is what its leaves look like. It's got something going on with it. I might have to pull it out. But I don't even know what kind of tree it is, so maybe that's what it's supposed to do. I don't know. And then there's a forsythia behind it that I did put there. This is the front view of that gooseneck loosestrife. I mean, am I right? And then in a vase, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 chef's kisses. This is a phlox that's about to be so beautiful. Too bad it's not blooming right now, but it is very beautiful. And it kind of likes this sunny, shady spot. And this hosta here is about 8 years old now. Maybe I should divide it. We got a lady's mantle here that is being infiltrated by the gooseneck loosestrife. I did cut this back earlier in the year because it got really big and floppy. And I don't know why. Maybe I overwater, but I just cut it back and it came back. Lovely little hosta collection here. Don't know what it's called. Don't know what it's called. I do know what this one's called, but I can't remember the name of it. This is like a perennial sunflower that blooms later in the fall. Very beautiful, yellow. My wisteria that never blooms, except for one time it bloomed like 1 or 2 little blooms. And there is a clematis that's climbed all over it. And it was bloomed up really beautiful. But you can still see a little bit on it right there. But it's just kind of using this wisteria as support. Very nice. Ooh, spider webs. Alright, so we're back up here again. And that is a full tour of the front yard. And the garden. Thanks for hanging out with me and looking at my garden and helping me document. And I hope you have a great day. Plant something.